Beyond mission driven, every franchise system needs to serve a purpose. You have your social mission, you have your do good objective, but you also have to build a great business model. And today we're going to talk with Nichole Daher, CEO of Success on the Spectrum. And it's going to be an amazing conversation because Nichole's an amazing entrepreneur. She found a need, created a business, and is growing an amazing franchise system. Nichole, I'm going to share a story we tell in our office when I talk about you. And it's a great, I mean, we love working with you guys, but one of my favorite things ever was when we first spoke and we had an extensive discovery session and conversations, and you were super polite and you're like, Charles, I hear this and I hear that, but I don't want to do that. And, very strong minded, the direction you're going into. And it was impressive. And then, even before the conversation, just knowing the mission of Success on a Spectrum and the fact that you're not selling franchises for a very long time and really leading a movement. So been looking forward to the conversation today.
Thank you so much. And so have I. I appreciate everything that you guys do. And I think that this podcast is one of the most amazing things I've listened to. I love listening to other founders' stories and other business ideas that people have. I think what you're doing here is absolutely invaluable. And I just appreciate all the time that you put into it.
Thanks, Nichole. Well, let's dive right into it because you have an amazing story, right? If you could just like what Success on the Spectrum is, like a check-in, what it is, how many locations open, but then the question that I love is how did you get into this business?
It is quite the story. So, I am the founder of Success on the Spectrum. We were the very first autism treatment franchise in the US. There are a few more now, but the original is the best. And we currently have 68 open and running locations. We've awarded 110 territories, so we have tons more in development. We're growing like crazy because we only started franchising in 2021. So it's been a blast. And the way this all came about is because in 2014, I got married to a man who had a daughter with autism. And so I had to learn how to take care of my new stepdaughter really fast, never had experience with autism before, was never even exposed to that world. And I learned a lot and learned all the things that I didn't know that I had to do to help her. And the main treatment, or the gold standard of treatment, I should say, for autism is ABA therapy. And she was receiving that from a company here next to our home. And I found out very quickly that most ABA companies around the country only serve kids up to age 5 or 6 years old, and then they age them out. And when she turned 6, there was nothing available for her. So I founded Success on the Spectrum. Honestly, it was just supposed to be for her to get her what she needed to get her through. She wasn't ready to go into the school system yet. And we needed more time teaching her how to talk, how to use the bathroom, and making eye contact and interacting with peers her age. And when I opened Success on the Spectrum, so many people applied, and it was startling, the demand for this service. Just absolutely startling, baffling, really, how many people were reaching out, please take my kid, please take my kid. So I opened one clinic, then I opened 2 clinics. They were full in months, and I was like, I can't solve this problem by myself, but franchising was the answer. And so all 68 locations that we currently have are CEOs who wanted to pick up the torch and help with the mission and supply all of these kids with the therapy and the treatment they deserve.
Nichole, what was it like? I mean, like franchising a business and growing a successful business, that's one challenge, right?
Yeah.
As a mom, a stepmom, like dealing with a child with autism, what were some of those struggles like in the beginning?
It was really hard because I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about autism, and there was a steep learning curve for me. But every parent wants the same thing for their kid, right? They want them to be happy, they want them to be safe. And my daughter couldn't talk. And anytime you drop her off at whether it be school or ABA therapy or whatever, when they come out of that building at the end of the day, you can't ask, how did it go at school today? Or did you make a friend today? Or was somebody mean to you? Or did somebody do the bad touch? Like, they can't tell you anything. And so you're just scared all the time that you're making the right decisions for your kid. You're hoping to God that if something would go wrong, you would see the signs because there's no way for her to verbalize that to you. You know, it's becoming a parent is just scary all the time. It was crazy.
And it's just so interesting to me when you hear about businesses or their stories, and there's always a genuine movement, or most of the time. But I mean, here, this was not a business you ever thought you'd be involved in, which I find amazing.
I literally stumbled on the best business idea ever. I only wanted it for her. It wasn't even meant to be profitable. It was really just to be a tax write off. And I was honestly shocked when I saw how profitable it is. And when COVID happened, I was scared again that we would lose everything. But we're an essential healthcare service. And not only were we able to stay open during COVID, but we thrived. So I stumbled on this like profitable, recession proof, great, like make you feel good about your life business that has all the perks and none of the cons. It really was just a happy accident.
Well, I mean, but you did something about it, right? You created that solution for your daughter, and always, whenever we're having conversations, a rising tide is critical, right? You're in an industry where, unfortunately, I mean, the fortunate thing is you're there to help. The unfortunate thing is rising levels of autism, and families that need assistance, and those that feel lost. Like, how far into starting Success on the Spectrum, or maybe it was right away that you realized, wow, this is a business that has significant demand?
I don't think it didn't really hit me. Well, this is kind of a funny story too, but I opened the first one, it got full. I opened the second one, it got full. And still in your head, you're like, oh, this might be a local problem. Maybe Houston just has low supply and high demand. Maybe I just hit a pocket that's really great. And then I got a call from a man in Florida,
Hmm.
and he said, I have a child with autism. I came across your website by accident when I was just searching, and I see that you're trying to franchise. I was just playing with the idea of franchising, and I was playing with the website. I didn't even know I had published that feature on the website yet. And he told me, you're a genius, right? And I thought I was an idiot because nobody else was franchising. So I'm like, obviously everybody else knows something that I don't, right? Maybe, I'm not a franchisor. I don't know anything. And he begged me to hire him. And he said, I want to be your sales director. I want to sell this thing because I believe in it and I know this will work and my kid needs it and a ton of other people need it and this is going to work. And I hired him, and to this day, he is my sales director. He was the one that really made me believe that this was a national problem that needed a solution. And I'm happy we moved forward with everything.
Nicole, I mean, you're probably the first autism treatment at a national level, which I think is an amazing achievement. What was it like as you entered the franchise world and started selling franchises?
It was a little scary. We were the first franchise. So most ABA companies are just big private equity companies. And so being a franchise, you don't want to become the PE company, right? Because they sacrifice quality for profit. So the biggest problem for me was how do I make sure that these franchisees are doing as good a job as me? How do I make sure that quality comes first and the dollar comes second? Because you can burn hot and fast, but you're not going to last a long time. And I wanted this brand to be able to live longer than these PE companies can flip things. And so it was difficult crafting something without having anyone to model after. And
Mhm.
it was a lot of, this is what I want as a parent. And then I would talk to my staff, my clinicians, and say, what do you think is right as a clinician and where can we meet in the middle? And so we just created something that both worked for the parents and worked for the business and the profitability. And So far, things have been really good. We haven't changed any major rules in a long time. What works in Texas works in New Jersey, works in Michigan, and we're doing so well, and the business is thriving.
So Nicole, let's talk about the business model itself. And you informed me, right? We've used the term ABA. That I guess that's applied behavioral
Analysis.
analysis. Okay. So talk about, what does the business model look like? I become a Success on the Spectrum franchisee. What do my operations look like? What am I focused on?
Yeah. So if you want to imagine, this is the best way I can explain it, but if you want to imagine a really bougie private school or private daycare, that's the closest picture that you can conjure to what ABA therapy is. So the kids attend our clinic 40 hours a week usually. They just get dropped off in the morning and picked up in the afternoon just like they would with school or daycare. So they're with us all day. And instead of paying tuition like you would for a private school, or instead of paying the fees for daycare, which would be cash pay from the parents, health insurance pays us. And health insurance pays $10,000 a month per kid. Now, these kids are not running amok in a classroom. We are one on one. So, for every kid that we have to have a technician with them. So, there is a teacher, so to speak, for every child. And every child learns differently. Some children with autism are verbal, some are nonverbal, some are potty trained, some are not. Some bolt, some are aggressive. And so, having that one on one instruction allows us to customize a curriculum for each and every kid. We do a little bit of group classroom learning just to help them practice and work their way up toward transitioning into a school system because that's our goal. But most of the things that they're learning, I could have a 12-year-old that's doing ABCs. I can have a 5-year-old that's doing multiplication but can't make eye contact. And so every lesson that we plan is different for each kid. And we have different rooms in our clinic that serve different purposes that teach them how to brush their own teeth and how to feed themselves and how to sign their name. So that's the best way I can explain what the clinic looks like.
And then operationally, are franchisees like you who have never been in the industry, or are they clinicians, or what does that look like?
Fantastic question. I'm very excited to report 25% of our CEOs are autism parents like me. The rest are just aspiring entrepreneurs that wanted a business but wanted something that had meaning. You know, you can open a Pizza Hut and make $1 million, sure, but at the end of the day, you're just serving pizza. It's not a feel good, and nothing against pizza. I love pizza very
Yeah.
much. But this is the kind of job that gets you out of speeding tickets. You know, like, oh, officer, I'm just helping autistic kids. You know, it's a feel good thing. It's impressive. It makes you proud of yourself. It makes you proud of the work you do. One of my franchisees had the perfect thing to say to me. He used to be in home health, and he said, I loved that I was helping people and I was proud of what I was doing. But you come in and you meet a client or a patient and you're with them for a year and then they pass away. They never get better. With this field, you're falling in love with this kid that you see every day and they start not talking and they leave you jabbering. And so it's not only does it feel good that you're helping people, but you actually get to see that people are getting better and you're making a difference in the world. And that entrepreneur can come from any industry and decide, hey, I want to switch to this.
Just outside looking in with friends, I'm blown away sometimes where I see, and now my children are older, so are theirs, and they're getting married, and you remember way back, and the child couldn't speak and had issues, and that therapy is so critical. I've never seen something where, I don't want to be mean, but next to our office, there's a lot of therapists in our town. I see adults going to these therapists. I'm like, that never works. I mean, just suck it up. But with like autism, I've never seen such an impact on these children where it's almost like a light switch in so many cases. So like and it like you said, it has to feel great to have a great mission. You're doing well and a solid business model. Like it's just fundamentally, it's a fundamental business model. At this stage now, 68 open, Nicole. What is it like when you're speaking with your franchisees? Like, what are some of the high points and what are some of the challenges they share?
So, of course, the high points are pretty much all the same for all of us. You go into the office expecting to do things like payroll or, interview somebody here or there, and then you hear a kid say their first words, and like texts are crying, and I'm crying, and the mom is crying, and we're all crying. There's not a dry eye in the building. Those high points are everything. I swear, if even if I went broke, I would still want to do this. It's just you make things happen. And this kid that was destined to be in some nursing home their whole lives, drooling in a chair, are now going to be able to get married and have a job and live on their own. And it's as a mom, I relive those moments where my child said her first word, or when she transitioned into school and was able to participate in a regular classroom instead of being left out. Those are the high points. The low points, I think, and it's kind of funny, because the hardest thing that you deal with, I think, in any industry nowadays, is the staffing.
Mhm.
The
Oh, for
majority
sure.
of people, yeah, the majority of people that we hire in their early 20s. So you're thinking, oh, I'm going to own my own business and things are going to be so posh and professional. And then you're like helping the staff members stop a fight because somebody stole somebody else's Chick-fil-A sauce out of the break room. And you're like, really? This is what I'm dealing with today? So dealing with the staff, I think, is always the hardest thing. Keeping people happy. I mean, our staffers are great because they also see the benefit of working with the kids, and they also feel like they're making a difference, and they're generally happy with their job. But there's the never ending, like, trying to keep everybody happy and trying to make everybody feel like they're appreciated enough. I think this generation is just a little different than ours.
Look, I think every smart CEO brings up staffing. It's always a challenge, and I think it's genuine. What again, not to undermine the social mission and like the greater good here, but it has to feel good to be in a business where there's like you don't want the demand, but at least there's demand there, and you're helping people. So, on
Yeah.
like a marketing front, are franchisees engaged in proactive marketing, or is it just serving the community type thing?
No, we don't even charge, the franchise doesn't charge a marketing fee.
Okay.
We don't need it. The demand is so high that if we just exist on Google Maps, parents are hunting us down and calling us. Every single franchisee we've ever opened so far has had a waiting list before they open their doors. So you're right, it is a double-edged sword, like good for business, but bad for the kids, that there's so, I think nationwide, I read this statistic, nationwide, 33% of the kids that need ABA therapy have access to it. So 65% of all kids that need it can't because there's either no ABA therapy center near them, or there are centers, but they're all full and they're wait lists. And so it's desperate parents calling saying, please, do you have a wait list? Please, can you get my kid in? Because the earlier you start the therapy, obviously, the sooner the child will be able to transition to school and have a life. And the more that they learn, their brains are so elastic when they're young, you want to get them as young as possible. So you see the desperation and you feel bad for it, and you can only take so many. This is why SOS as a franchise can open clinics faster than, say, private equity or a mom and pop. So I think that we're helping with demand. But just recently, CDC, the CEO, the CDC just released new statistics. 1 out of 31 kids is diagnosed with autism. 31. It's a lot.
It is. And again, and I know there's different degrees, and but I saw what I would think is very severe, and with like early therapy, like amazing results.
It would have changed their lives.
Yeah, no, and even again, where parents, you see the pain of it, and they're hopeful with the therapy, and you're like, you hope they're not over relying on it, but many times it's amazing results. Nichole, that which really gets to when we're evaluating franchising and what's the network effect, and again here too it just seems like success on the spectrum sinks in where we get better the more locations, the more clinics we light up, we get stronger systematizing our protocols and whatnot. But how do you look at the effect of the network you're building in terms of operations and in terms of franchisee success?
We are just one big family. I love saying that because it's absolutely true. Every month, we do a group CEO meeting where we get together virtually and we talk to each other about the things that happen and we learn from each other. We laugh at each other. We cry with each other. We mostly laugh at each other, not going to lie. Because there's always some news story, right? And so we always grow and we help each other. And as a system, you know, by yourself, you probably wouldn't have the time to run a clinic and come up with training materials and videos and CEU courses, but the franchising company can. And so we've come up with our own software, our own learning management system. We can certify people in house. We've gained university partnerships to give our staff discounted tuition to become behavior analysts and earn their master's degree in the field of psychology. And we're offering so much to the industry itself, not just to our brand, but we are creating more qualified, talented, knowledgeable staff out there that even if they don't stay with us, they're still available in the world for the kids. So I feel like our brand is going to make a difference in the industry as a whole, and we're growing with that positivity in mind. But being a part of a group is so beneficial, and we don't all have to make the same mistakes if we're learning from each other.
No, I mean it's not like each location's just independent on its own. I mean, that network is so powerful, and then the families and parents you're serving and their connections throughout the country, and that's powerful. Nichole, like I think you're very modest in many ways. Like as you're sitting here today and we're talking about this, like, how does it make you feel? Like over 60 locations open. You've like you're creating a thriving franchise system. You've created a thriving business model. Like, what do you reflect on when you're thinking backwards on this?
Oh no, I have complete imposter syndrome. It's not real. It's just a fantasy in my head. Like, it doesn't feel like I've done all of this. I feel like it just happened on its own and I was a part of it. I don't like being like me. It's all of us. It's all of us. And I love what we've done and I love that we've grown. And one of my biggest problems is that as a CEO, I'm supposed to be above it all. I'm very much in everybody's business all the time. I know all of my franchisees, all of their names, their husbands' names, their kids' names. I fly around the country. Last year I took 45 flights to see everybody, have dinner with everybody, usually a margarita. We cry, we laugh. Um, I hate these companies that, like, if you need help, open a support ticket. Hate it. Open a support ticket, I could die. We have instant chat, and I reserve my time most of the day to just sit and answer people's instant chat. If they need more help than that, they can meet with my team virtually and share screens and things. But I am very much a part of every factor in the business. I'm in everybody's faces all the time. I love being involved, and I never want to be that CEO that's looking down on all the people and saying, "Oh, you do this." It's me and you together. Let's do this together. And that's how I think we keep our eyes on the ball. We keep our focus on what's real and we help the kids in a way that isn't taking advantage of the profitability of the industry.
That's great leadership. Nichole, there's just so many moving parts, right? And like you're downplaying so much, not downplaying so much, but everything's flowing. But so what's some advice you give to, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. Someone who's in the franchise industry and not say your industry, but maybe they're not being genuine about the business, or maybe they're not being honest about why they're not successful. Like what advice would you give them?
One person can't do everything. So
Says, yeah.
recognizing your own weaknesses, knowing what you can't do, and then finding someone that does know better than you and actually allowing them to make decisions in that area for you, I think is a leader's greatest strength and the way that your business will be most profitable. I'm just an autism mom. I don't know things about ABA. I had to hire ABA master degree specialists, ask them questions. What do you think that we should do about this? What kind of rules should we make to prevent this from happening? Have a discussion and allow them the power and the flexibility to implement what they think is right, test it, try it out, and then push it down to your franchisees. So, not everybody can rule everything.
I think that's great advice. It's actually, I'm thinking about it for myself, how I may not be implementing that, or how I may. But, and then for franchise, who would be a good fit franchisee and who is not a good fit franchisee for success?
If you are interested in success on the spectrum, you have to know that we require owner operators. This is a people business. This is a feel good business. So we want our CEOs to actively work within their clinic. You're going to work 30 hours a week. You don't have to sit at the desk. Some of it could be done virtually, sure. You don't have to be in the clinic all the time. But this is not a buy it and pay somebody to run it type of thing. This is not passive income. This is, I want a job that I'm going to be in, working and dealing with things myself, owner operator type of business. If you're looking to make a difference, if you're looking for a business that gives your life meaning, if you are a mom or a daddy that has a kid with autism or without a kid with autism, we work banker's hours, we have holidays and weekends off. You can, as a parent, I must say, like having 25 highly trained people that can babysit for you at any time is just a gift that keeps on giving. So it's really good for a parent to own this business in general because the lifestyle just fits right in. But I'd never want to see, every now and then we get like these oil sheiks that call in, yes, I want to buy this for my children and it'll make them money so they're set for when they're younger. I'm like, this is not for you. This is not for you.
Planning ahead a little, where do you want to see success on the spectrum go? I mean, you've achieved so much. What's your thoughts there?
Oh, the sky's the limit. I mean, I want to see less demand and more supply. I want to open more clinics nationally. Right now, we're in about 17 states. We're so open and looking forward to doing more, to providing more care for kids. But eventually, I think we're going to outgrow the United States. And the US is the leading country for ABA therapy. We have the most providers than anyone else. And there's so many other parts of the world that don't even know what this is. And kids with autism are still a shameful thing that are made to be hidden in, facilities and institutions. I want to fix that problem too. So I would love to branch out, to go international, and to even not to serve kids, even if just to teach other teachers so they can do it would be an accomplishment for me.
That's pretty amazing. Nicole, any like who do you rely on the most, like as you're going through this journey? Like who do you like when you're doubting yourself, or eh, who do you rely on the most?
I have the world's greatest team. The people who are directors in SOS franchising are the very first 5 employees I ever hired back when I founded the company in 2015. They've stayed with me all these years. We have all watched each other get married, have babies, get divorced, get remarried. We I feel like we've grown up together and we built this company together, and I believe that they feel ownership in what we do. Even though they're not CEOs, they feel like I built this, I made this. If I walked off the planet today, they would keep running it tomorrow in my absence the same way that I would the whole time. And it's so invaluable to have people that care as much as I do running this company. I think it makes us great.
You know, I I I, I think it does. Like when in terms of team and then conversations of culture, like I even reflect now, like when I'm motivated in the morning, sometimes I'm like, why am I motivated? Sure, my family, but like we've team members that are here from the beginning, right? And you want to prove them right in their commitment and what they've done. And then whenever I have these conversations, there's always those team members there, which really gets to culture, right? And the ownership. I don't think you could succeed without it. I'm glad that's, I mean, how do you like, how do you manage culture, or is it just, Charles, look, I'm genuine and this is how we're running the business?
It's a lot of sisterhood and friendship going on here. If you learn to recognize when another team member is having a bad day and either let them take off to fix the problem themselves, or everybody shuts it down and it's margarita day, which we've done. I remember early on when we were very, very frustrated, we opened a clinic in a new state, and the to become in network with some of these insurances can be very difficult. And we were banging our heads against the wall with this one thing. And I said, okay, everybody stop, go get your bathing suits. We're going to the water park for a few hours. And when we come back, we'll be refreshed. And it was the best thing we ever did. And we came back with clear minds and smiles on our faces. And we hit the road, and we were managed to break through that problem with clear minds instead of letting that frustration kind of fester. So I think recognizing when someone's reached their limit of decision making capability, I think that's really important for culture, because we all hit it. Not all of us have 100% good days, you know.
And I think it's being genuine, right? Like at a human level. And the same reason how you started Success on the Spectrum, right? You approach it at a human level. Nichole, I appreciate everything. It's fun watching you grow, and I appreciate the time today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on your show. I hope some of this information has helped other founders. I hope that if you're interested in joining our brand, you can visit our website, sosfranchising.com. And if it inspires you to open your own Goodwill company, my job is done.
Awesome, Nichole. Thank you.
Thank you.